Hello everybody and welcome to our latest episode of Conversation Street, where we're going to be talking about our recent trip to Manchester. That's right, we have been up north and back again. We came back just this afternoon and we're going to be talking all about it today. We have been doing a walk for Webster, which was organised for International Soap Week, which was the brainchild of my dear Gemma, who's sitting here. Say hello, Gemma.
Hello.
Hello. So it's excited. You did it. We did a good walk. We raised money for charity. But that's not the only thing we were doing up there. We were to see some locations where they were doing some shooting earlier this year. We went to see the sets, said hello to some people outside. So we're going to be telling you all about that today. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then you'll be able to see, hopefully, some lovely videos and pictures from it as well. So, Gemma, International Soap Week is now over. By the time this comes out, it'll have been last week. What's your little reflections on the week?
I can't. It's spoilers, isn't it, to talk about, because the main thing was the walk, but online everyone's been really great and sharing all their memories and stories and photos and quotes and
it's been great.
Favourite episodes, favourite characters.
I know. Are you pretty pleased with yourself?
I am pretty pleased. I'm not with myself, with everyone else, because people keep saying how great, but it wasn't me. I just came up with an idea. It wasn't really
did an awful lot.
Listen, was it really a hard thing to come up with? No. So
you still coordinated.
I couldn't have done it without everybody. I wish. So just can people
so modest,
say
so modest.
Yes, everyone else was very cool. Okay, and soap fans were just amazing. I've always known that. And all I did was say, soap fans are amazing, and everyone went, yes, we are.
She did more. She did a lot more.
No.
Right, okay, let's talk about our trip. So we'd planned to go to Manchester. When did we put this? It was like a couple of months ago, maybe, we decided we were going to go, wasn't it? Because we wanted to say hello to Sally Ann Matthews because we knew that she'd be filming at that point. So we thought, well, I'm owed a day off work. Let's take it then. And then the idea for this Webster's walk for Webster, I still can't remember what it's called, came about in the meantime, and it just so happened that it coordinated very nicely with this week. So all the organisation kind of stemmed from that really, but it was basically a case of driving up to Manchester straight after work on Thursday. Not too bad a drive this time, was it?
No. I was really tired because I got up at, what did I get up at 5 o'clock before then?
Yeah.
I had to get up at...
You had to take me into school very early.
At like 4:30 in the morning. Then I went straight to the allotment and watered all the plants.
It was a long day.
And then I had to go to the community centre and do the washing up. And then I came back home and tidied the house. And then I came and got you. Yeah. And then we drove to Manchester.
Yeah.
But you also had a hard day at work, I guess.
Well, you know.
I don't know.
I was just looking forward to the end of the day, really, because I wanted to get up there. We were hoping that the traffic wouldn't be too bad. I think this was probably one of our best ever drives up there in terms of traffic jams. There was a little one, and we stopped for about 15 minutes to get a drink somewhere. But when did we arrive? Like 9 o'clock or so, maybe?
9, yeah.
Yeah, so we were staying in...
Yeah, Premier Inn. By the Trafford, whatever it is.
By the Old Trafford. By the football stadium.
Where they kick stuff.
We'd not been there before. It wasn't too bad, really, was it? It was quite a convenient location.
I had no idea what was... If you go out of like where Corrie is on your right and the War Museum's on your left, and then you could turn left down there. I literally had no idea what was down there at all.
No, we've never explored that area.
But now we do. We know because we walked up and down that road about 15 times.
Many times over the last few days. We did have a look at the accommodation in Media City, one of the flats that we'd stayed in before with a look over it's far too expensive. There's some band called Oasis playing in Manchester this weekend. I don't know if anyone's heard of them, but yeah, Manchester was packed. Everyone was in the midst of Oasis fever while we were up there a few days ago. But we were flying the flag for Coronation Street. We weren't.
Didn't like
Some people didn't care at all.
So if you ever book this hotel, it is about a 15-20 minute walk.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
And there is a tram stop right outside, but I imagine that when there is a match there, it's a nightmare. When
we got there, we did actually see the Corrie tram welcoming us to Salford, didn't it? But we weren't able to get it very well on camera because there was a red traffic light and it kind of darted off before we could get around to it. But it was quite a nice welcome anyway. And we drove past the studios and then up to our hotel. There's not much to say about the hotel particularly. It was just the bog standard. What was it, Premier Inn, did you say?
What was the other one we went to the other day that I hated?
I don't know, did you?
Yeah, we went to one and that lady was horrible.
I don't remember at all what you're talking about.
It's the one by the Hackney Empire. Is that the same?
Yeah,
Premier Inn?
that might have been a Travel Inn.
I like Premier Inns are better.
But yeah, really, it all kicked off for us on Friday when we wanted to go and go to visit Media City because we wanted to see whether we could spot any Corrie stars outside the studios. We were well prepared this time. We've bought a new rucksack. Did we have it? I think we had it for our... did we have the rucksack for the trip to the British Soap Awards the other week?
Yes, because I bought it specifically.
But with many compartments and things in. But we'd
It's a tactical rucksack.
It was a tactical rucksack. But with Gemma, in the meantime, had bought a cool little patch that said Conversation Street on, so it was all official.
Cool?
Yeah, it's definitely cool.
Okay.
And then I'd adorned it with some badges that we got from... What?
R.I.P.
Yeah, some of them fell off over the course of the weekend.
Did I say?
What?
I said those will fall off.
Yeah, they did. It was all Coronation Street ones. We bought them from the from the shop there one of the times that we were there. So it was like Underworld and Streetcars and Weatherfield Autos. No, so Webster's Autos there. And I think for a Coronation Street fan, it looked pretty cool. But they didn't all survive the weekend.
You can still
sadly.
get them at the tour, and they're how much are they? £8 or something?
I've got no idea how much they cost, but there was no denying that I was a Coronation Street fan when I stepped out into the sunshine on Friday morning. I had my orange Coronation Street top on, no, Conversation Street top on. I was flying the flag for the podcast, and we got to Media City about what was it, 7:15 or so in the morning?
Yes, we did.
Yes, it was quite early in the morning because we knew that we wanted to see if we could see some stars as they went into the studios. But rather than hanging around by the studios themselves, we ventured across the bridge and into Media City and plonked ourselves on a bench there just to see if we could spot anyone coming from that direction. We saw a few, but I was also a little bit nervous and I didn't really want to talk to anybody. It was, how long were we there for? About an hour and a quarter or so, do you reckon?
We were probably there, an hour and a half, if not longer.
Yeah, we knew, because we'd been in contact with her beforehand, that Sally Ann Matthews would be coming into work that morning around about that time. So we knew we'd see her at least, but we didn't have a clue who else that would be there. And a couple of times I got a bit bored sitting around and took a wander across the bridge and back. And one of the times that I was going over the bridge, I saw Jonathan Howard there, who plays Carl Webster. Naughty boy. I didn't say hello to him though. I was a bit nervous. I don't know why, but he looked like he was in the zone, you know. He had, I think it was a script. It was like a little A5 maybe thick booklet of papers that he was kind of feverishly thumbing through as he walked across the bridge. And I was like, he doesn't look like he wants to be disturbed there. So I let him go to it. And then another time when I was doing a walk, I kind of got off and I went sort of further into Media City and around the corner, and then I saw, actually I'm not going to say who I saw because is this a spoiler? Might be a spoiler.
No one's worked it out either on the internet.
No, okay.
Nobody's guessed yet.
I saw somebody who's a returning character that's going to be in the show later this year, I guess. Let's say about 7 or 8 weeks' time. It is well known that they're coming back, and it has not been very long since this character has been in the show. I think that's about us. I'll leave you to ponder on that one. But it was a character that Gemma and I were massive fans of. And I kind of turned around the corner and they were there looking very glam. It was a lady. And she had her big fancy luggage that she was dragging along, and she put on her sunglasses. And the sunglasses to me were the way of saying, Don't talk to me. I'm a celebrity. So I didn't, but I kind of hurried back round the corner and sat next to Gemma. I was like, someone's about to come around the corner. And we watched as they walked past us. And that was about us. So no interesting story there particularly. But I'll wait for you to find out who that person was at a later date. But eventually, the woman of the hour, Sally Ann Matthews, came out. And she lives, she's got a flat just nearby, hasn't she? So we saw her get into work, and we hopped up, said hello to her, and fast walked across the bridge. And she couldn't really stop because, as I say, she was just getting into work. Anything you want to kind of add to this, Gemma?
No.
Well, don't just leave me to do all the talking today. I don't know. Am I cannibalising this? I don't mean to be. Please feel free to interrupt as soon as you mean to be. But Sally Ann Matthews, obviously, absolutely wonderful. She's a big friend of the podcast, and it was lovely to see her again. But we knew that she would be finishing lunchtime-ish, so we let her in, and then we headed off. And that was about all, wasn't it, for Media City that morning?
We had to go because we had to go and look at things. We had to go and look at location shoots.
Yes, where did we go first?
Well, we had a bit of a miscommunication, didn't we? Because we were going to go and see a hostage location.
Oh yeah, I said to Gemma, we're gonna go to the place where the hostage was earlier this year.
And we got there and I was like, where? I thought it was like an industrial estate. And you said, what do you mean? And I said, well, where? I thought Carla was in like some kind of office building with like on an industrial estate.
Wrong hostage situation.
No, not that hostage situation. The one that happened at the same time where Bernie was being held hostage.
Yeah, there's been more than one hostage situations in Coronation Street this year, obviously. And the first location was where Bernie was taken prisoner by, it was Kit, wasn't it? I think. Yeah, Kit and Mick was there. Or was it Mick?
Kit that took her hostage? It was Mick.
It was Mick, that's right.
So
Kit had to come and rescue her.
It's on the roof of this lovely place. Well, there's like 3 places. There's Mayfield. It's called Mayfield Park.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's beautiful. It's worth going just for that.
We got there and it was a really, really lovely park there. It had a river running through it, but none of that you saw on the show.
No, that would have been too idyllic.
It was like an abandoned railway station.
Yeah, and then there's some kind of like food and drinks place. But then there's this other thing called Super Massive or something, and that's an interactive art gallery.
Oh, okay,
and that's where you can go. I did ask them, and you can actually get to the roof.
We asked them too late.
If you go there.
We got there, and I was practicing out my gimbal. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you've heard about my new little bit of kit that I got for filming out there. So I was filming these very stable videos. Hopefully, I don't really know, but we were trying to get up because you couldn't tell from watching the episode with Bernie and Kit and Mick, but it was really quite raised. It's an abandoned station, a railway station, Mayfield Station, that was closed down in the 80s, I'm going to say maybe, and it's fallen into disuse really, but it seems like they're kind of doing it up, aren't they? They're restoring it, like Gemma just said. I think there's an art exhibit there at the moment, but we weren't able to get there, so all we could see from street level was a couple of kind of girders that had been visible in the show. So that was not a failed trip, but it was one that we were able to put down to we'll visit it again later.
Didn't you say that the scouts went to find the location, they found it, and then when they came back, it had all been done.
I'm pretty sure I remember this story right. Somebody at the time, when they were doing like a behind the scenes on Coronation Street, said that they went to this abandoned railway station and it was properly like overgrown. It looked proper post-apocalyptic and pretty gritty and scary for a hostage situation to take place in. And they were like, "Yeah, this is the perfect location for this." And then when they came back a few weeks or months or however long later to actually film it, that it had been it was partly gentrified and it had been all cleared out and it wasn't quite so wild and grotty as it had been the first time. But I don't know, the scenes were all right there, weren't they? But we weren't able to see much there, but hopefully Watch This Space will be able to get up there at some point in the future. Then we went along, still on the theme of Kit and Mick, to something from the flashback episode from a few months ago. The flashback to 2007, I think it was, wasn't it? So a lot of you will remember that episode. Some of you loved it, some of you didn't really like it so much. But we wanted to find and visit the shop that Mick and Kit and Lou visited in the episode. We'd found it online back when the episode had been aired, so we knew exactly where it was. But it looked a little bit different, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
It was... they'd put a new frontage out. Well, they changed the frontage for when it was filmed on the show, because you couldn't have the real business in. But it was really annoying. There was a lorry parked outside it, wasn't there? So we weren't able to get particularly good pictures of it at the beginning, at least. I mean, it was just a shop really, but it was very different inside, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's been done up, and we wondered whether it was done up because they they had got some money from the filming there. It
looked very swish and new inside.
But to be honest with you, half of me thinks there are still corner shops that look a bit like they could have come from... How many years ago was it?
17, 18 years ago.
Not that long ago. There are still corner shops that look like that now. But it definitely did look a bit dated. But this one was like super shiny and lovely. Yeah.
It feels like the one on the show was in a bit of a bigger space as well. So I kind of believe that it was filmed inside an actual a shop rather than just a set. But I don't know. Maybe I was fooled.
Expensive set to make, I think.
Yeah, with all the shelves and the stock and everything. But anyway, we had a little look in there and we talked to the man behind the counter. You spoke to the man behind the counter, didn't you?
Yeah, I said, "Oh, did they film Coronation Street here?" And he went, "Yeah, they did." And I said, "Oh, that's really cool. Were you here?" he went, no, I wasn't.
We were hoping to get a bit of a scoop there, a bit of an exclusive, but it wasn't particularly helpful.
And then I said, oh, do you know any good stories about it? And he went, no.
No, so we can also share no exclusive or interesting stories with you about that, apart from to say it was there. It was on Bollington Road, if anyone ever fancies visiting themselves.
Is that in Manchester or Salford?
Well, I don't know the difference. It's to the east of the city centre. I'll say I don't know whereabouts it was, but yeah, it was a go local there, and there was also a few other bits for the episode were filmed in the area as well. Not the place where Kit's house was, where Kit and Mrs. Green and Bernie had that chat outside the house, and not where the pub was, where they'd filmed a few scenes as well. That was over in Earlham, which is on the west side of the city. But you could at least see the bit where Mick and Kit ran and sat with their stolen lagers or ciders or whatever it is they'd pinched from the shop. They were sitting on a curb somewhere, and we recognised all the houses around there, and I sat in the very same spot, and I did a few photo poses, and then a little bit further around the corner was the alleyway that they run down at one point, so I took a walk up and back and forth down there a little bit. It was quite cool, you know, for a one episode appearance. I don't think we're going to be seeing that again, but it was nice that they were able to film some bits quite close to each other, so that we didn't have to go too far apart until we could see all the various locations.
They definitely have only just done this place up because
the shop?
Yeah, they've got like on.
Yeah.
I think that the location people found somewhere that was about to renovate, and it was closed because it was renovating.
Yeah.
Or they decided to do it up when they got money for filming there. But I don't know how much you get from somebody filming.
Well, exactly. I wouldn't say it's enough to have a complete renovation of your shop,
No.
but who knows? I mean, ITV's got loads of money to splash out at the moment on things like that, apparently. So we didn't go to the other place. We couldn't make our way over to Earlham. We were on quite a tight schedule, but we'll put that one in the bank for a later trip. But we did manage to find another place from another hostage situation, which is the one that you'd originally thought, wasn't it? We went to Trafford Park, which was from the episode where Mandy had held Carla hostage, was it? I'm losing track from the episode. I know that Rob and Lisa turn up there. It was where, yeah, Mandy had taken Carla from the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Took her up to this building, and then later on in the episode, Rob arrives there with Lisa, whacks her around the head in the front seat of the car. He goes up there as well, does that classic and oh so memorable tumble over the banisters, who can forget that? And then Lisa comes in and kind of saves the day, and then they drive off. So we couldn't get inside it. It looked pretty abandoned, didn't it?
It didn't look abandoned. It just looked like it was not being rented out by anyone. Nobody was using it. We went during the day on the Friday, so if anyone weren't there, they would have been there. The car park is closed off.
The barriers over the front.
And you say it's Trafford Park, like it's some kind of beautiful.
Oh no, it's just a business park.
Yeah, it's full of, including Swarco.
Yeah, I love this. The building opposite it is called Swarco, and I'm sure it isn't the case, but for a Swala storyline to have it opposite a place called Swarco, I thought that was just perfect. They certainly looked like they were in operation. There were some guys loitering around there, probably wondering what on earth are those two loonies doing, posing for photos outside an abandoned business. But we knew what we were doing there. Sadly, we couldn't go inside, and even the windows were like blacked up, weren't they? So we were looking inside, or tried to look inside to see that famous stairwell, but we couldn't. I kind of poked my camera through the letterbox and we couldn't really see too much. But the car park we recognised at least, because there were a few scenes filmed outside there.
Yeah, the famous car park.
A place to visit for the ardent Swala fan, I'm going to say. And only, 5 minutes drive from the set?
Yeah, it's really close.
I think if you wanted to walk there, it would take you 25 minutes or so. So, I don't know, maybe you're on your Swala pilgrimage, you can take yourself there one day. But I'm glad it was another one that we could tick off the box anyway. After that, we went back to Media City. You said you wanted to park in the Imperial War Museum car park.
Well, it's either that or drive back to the hotel and walk 20 minutes.
In the heat, in the blazing heat.
Well, we didn't want to go to the hotel, we wanted to go to the Corrie set.
And then we went inside the War Museum and had a cup of tea.
Oh yeah, we did.
Had a break. Well, yeah. You were taking your time, weren't you? I was like, I need to get there. We'd heard that Sally Ann Matthews could be out from like 12:30 onwards. I think she'd told us before, and we got to about 12:30, and you were leisurely sipping your cider or whatever it was that you had.
Cider.
What did you have? Oh, it was a white wine, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you're being classy.
Nice cider there.
So I headed off to the set. You stayed, and you arrived about 10 minutes later or so. You didn't miss Sal because she wasn't there for a little bit later.
You can't chug white wine.
No, you got to.
Not in a war museum.
No, it would be wrong.
I just do want to give a big tip to anybody, because I think people miss this out a lot. The War Museum is so close to the Corrie set, and it is got air conditioning, and it is got a cafe.
Yeah.
And it's free to go in there, and it's got toilets. If you're a gate loiterer, and you want to go somewhere that's nice and cool and has a loo quite close, that's free, go there.
Well, lots of people will try and get inside the Corrie experience, won't they? Which is sometimes semi-open for anybody who wants to go in during the day. But it wasn't open on Friday, but we still managed to get in anyway. Gemma's really good at being able to get us inside places. You're good at charming people, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Can we just have a look?
Tell you who hates me? Security guards hate me.
Why? This one loved
always
you.
gets so suspicious. Oh no, he was all right.
Yeah, the Corrie experience. The door was open because this was, I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
I was going to say,
now.
this didn't happen yet.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we're not in order. We went along there later and we saw the doors were wide open. We thought, I wonder whether we can see what's in the shop. But it turned out that the doors were only open because it was jolly hot inside and the poor security guard wanted to get up a breeze. And you said, can we go in? No, you can't go in today. We're closed. Oh. We just want to have a look at the shop. We're from a podcast, and it's like, oh, okay. So it didn't take much charming, did it?
No, not really.
You just battered your eyelashes at him or something. And so we had a little look inside the shop. We noticed that they'd sold lanyards there now. I don't think we'd seen those there before. Was there anything else?
Yes, there was. There was a very special thing.
What?
That was new.
What?
It was ginger.
Oh, little toy ginger
cute.
Cats.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's a genius idea from Corrie, because they're kind of only mascot animal at the moment is a duck, which they stole off us. And so to have a cat there is a really great idea, because there is a cat on the intro.
It's not even a branded. I didn't pick one up, but I don't think I saw any labels that said Coronation Street on. So I think they just kind of got this job lot of little ginger cats.
It's a brilliant idea, and I really do think that if somebody wants in the marketing department at ITV or Corrie wants to make this idea have legs, they would be able to do it very easily.
I think so. But anyway, thank you, security guard, for letting us in. So I was back in time again. I went over to the back gates of the set, and I was there on my own. There's luckily a tiny bit of shade. The sun was like behind the building. It was kind of at the front of the building, so it was casting a bit of a shadow, for a couple of meters at least from the walls, so we were able to stay in there.
All weekend it was 30, 29, 28, 29, 30 degrees, and blazing hot sunshine, so you needed a bit of shade to sit in, otherwise you would have died.
You did. So I was waiting there, kind of loitering around, and then some other fans turned up, and these were people that we'd arranged in advance to meet there. So there was Chloe and Vicky and Bobby, who are big Corrie fans online, also big Sally Ann Matthews fans, and I think there's a bit of a Swana fan in there as well. And so they came and said hello to me, and they were lovely, weren't they? You came along a couple of minutes later, and we basically just spent the next couple of hours with them.
Yeah, they were really good. They were really funny and lively, and great, and I really enjoyed spending time with them. They were really good fun.
There was lots of spending time with other people on this trip, wasn't there? Yeah, we had a lot. Sometimes when we go out to Manchester, it's mostly just kind of me and you, and we don't really talk to many people. But we not through choice, but it just doesn't turn out this way.
I talk to people.
But yeah, this time we managed to have lots of lovely chats with everybody, and these three were absolutely gorgeous and smashing and wonderful. And I don't remember much of what we were talking about. Coronation Street, I expect, and who we thought that we would see. There was also another set of fans that came at one point, and one of them asked for my autograph, and yours actually. We both got our autographs asked for, because clearly we are famous in the world of Coronation Street fans. I don't know. He came up to me and he was really lovely, and I'd met him before at one of the soap awards, and he was like, "Can I have your autograph?" And I was like, I haven't really got one, but I can write my name. But he was pleased with that. You wrote your signature, didn't you?
I don't write my signature.
I thought you did. What did you write?
Autograph.
Is it different when you write it in a
If
special
you
book?
write your signature down, everyone can copy it and use your checkbooks.
Oh, there we go. So that was a nice little experience for us. And anyway, we didn't see too many people there. There was a few there, but they didn't stop. But the very
Who are you talking about?
cast-wise.
There were lots of crew because we went around lunchtime, and so they all came in and out.
Yeah, there's always lots of crew and behind-the-scenes peoples that come out. One of the people that we saw, which was lovely, was our friend Dom from the archive. We've spoken about Dom on the podcast before. He's the best, and he looked very swish in his what was it, orange and blue leopard print-ish shirt.
He is the best dressed that comes out, and he didn't believe me, but he genuinely is.
He has got an eye for fashion.
Out of everybody, including all the celebs, he always looks so dapper and cool. Yes. And he's got lovely hair. I
felt a bit guilty because we hadn't told Dom that we were coming. And so he kind of came out of the gate and started walking towards us. And I was like, oh, it's Dom to go and see. But he's chatted to us for about 10-15 minutes, didn't he?
It's been such a whirlwind of trying to do stuff. And you've been so busy at work that we kind of totally forgot, like, oh, yeah.
We probably better.
Well, we could tell people that we're doing
this. Yeah. What did we talk about? He's been doing some work on... one of the things that they do, I mean, the archivist's job is partly they're like this font of knowledge. If like a writer or an actor or anyone wants to know, find out this fact about what my character did, or what do they believe about this, or what they're allergic to. Yeah. How would they react to this? And Dom and Helen at the archive, their job is partly to find that out, and they've got this encyclopedic knowledge about Coronation Street, and it's there at the click of a button as well.
Genuinely, they've got such amazing knowledge, and they do so much work as well. It's not just sitting around waiting for somebody to ask you a question.
No.
They're constantly looking at scripts and coming up with ideas for things. Yeah,
checking that the scripts match.
Making sure that they don't use a name that has been used by something else, or like a brand can't be... Yeah, we need a brand for like apple juice. Come up with something that doesn't look like an existing one. Oh, it's amazing.
It's also their job to put together the clip compilations that you get in various places. So at the Soap Awards, for example, when they say, and here's what's been going on in Coronation Street this year, that compilation of clips comes from the guys at the Corrie archive, or if you've been on the Corrie Experience, when you go into the little cinema room and they play that awesome 5-minute, however long it is, compilation, that was them that put them together.
Well, all the info in the exhibition and stuff is from them.
Yes, that's right as well. And then he's been putting together some other clips for upcoming things that he was telling us a little bit about. So that was really nice. Thank you, Dom, for stopping. But yeah, cast-wise, we just saw a few. And Sally Ann Matthews did come out. We'll get to her in a little bit. But the first person that we saw was quite apt for our weekend on our walk for Webster. Because Sue Devaney came along, didn't she?
She did.
And we almost missed her. We were talking, it was me and you and Chloe and that lot were talking, and we were kind of half looking at who was walking past.
I think I was walking parallel to her at one point, and her husband was there as well.
Yeah.
I didn't look properly, so I didn't notice it was her at all.
No, and I didn't notice until she said, oh, hello, it's you. What are you doing here? So she spotted us before we spot her.
I love her.
And I was like, oh, Sue, hello. So that was really, really nice. We knew that because she told us that she was going away that weekend. So she wasn't going to be there the day that we did the walk. So I wasn't expecting at all to see her at the studio. So that was a lovely surprise. So we jumped up and talked to her, and Sue Devaney is absolute diamond.
She's like you would imagine. Like, if you were to try to imagine what was the actress who plays Debbie like, you'd probably guess.
Yeah,
she's exactly
so
like...
sparky. And...
She's like energetic, she's bubbly, friendly, really nice. Friendly. So cool.
Yeah. She was there, as Gemma said, she was there with her husband, and she was carrying in this little tray of plums or nectarines or something. I don't know what that was all about. That was for our lunch today. So we chatted for a minute or two, and she knew that we were doing the walk. We'd messaged her a few weeks ago about it and said it was happening.
Yeah, didn't even think we were doing it
a
few months ago. That would have been good planning, wouldn't it?
But she kind of said yesterday, or whenever it was we saw her Friday, that, do you want me to do a video? Do you want me to record a message for the people that are going on the walk? Like, yes, absolutely. That'd be lovely. Thank you so much. So she said, right, well, I'm going on holiday this weekend. I'm going tonight, and so I'll record you something. I'll do it at the airport or something, and then we'll get that. So brilliant. Thank you, Sue. In she went. Apart from that, the other people that we saw going past, there was Jonathan Howard again, Carl Webster. I gave a nod to him, and you said I wasn't blanking him or anything. Honestly.
Hello, yeah, how are you? And I was like, oh, good, you know.
Yeah. That was as much as we got from there.
But I didn't want to. like, the thing is about it, because you didn't come over, and I was like, I can't say any more than this because I don't want to be awkward about like anybody going, oh, do you want a picture or something? Because it's like, no, because I don't want to be in a picture.
Yeah, I've not heard. I don't know whether
he seemed really nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard beforehand about whether he's the sort that likes to stop and chat or not, and I didn't want to be presumptuous.
He seemed like he would have stopped if we had.
Yeah.
I
wasn't. I feel bad that I didn't say more of a hello.
I know, because I think he's doing an excellent job. Just because I don't like the character.
Yeah.
It's like, I've always said this. Just because I don't like the character, I think it's an even better reflection on the actor.
Yeah, for sure.
That they doing an excellent job of making.
Yeah.
Unlikable.
At one point, I think it was when we were talking to Dom, Gareth Pearce came out of the gates and then he came back again. So I think he just popped out for lunch at one point. And I kind of gave him a nod and a hello. And I got the impression in the past that Gareth doesn't necessarily want to stop so much, which is absolutely fine. I think we've always said it's down to them whether they want to stop, so I didn't try and grab him and say, come and have a photo with me or anything, but it was nice to see him all the same. And that's all we saw, apart from Sally Ann Matthews. I can't remember what time it was that she came out, but she was the main one that we were all there to see, and she was just brilliant, wasn't she?
She always is brilliant.
Always brilliant. She was so happy and smiley, and she ended up staying with us for 15 minutes maybe.
Yes.
I'm going to say,
we
which
was very generous at the
time, yeah.
Yeah, the girls got to meet her. That was fantastic.
Yeah, some of the girls had seen her before, but not for a long time. And then this was the first meeting with Sal, so that was lovely. And we got photos taken.
And she's so good. Sal is so brilliant with everybody. She's so nice. She's so generous with her time. Chloe presented her with a picture she'd drawn of her feet. And
no, we need to say more about this. This is the best moment of the afternoon, as far as I'm concerned. So if you've been following Sal on social media in recent months, you'll see all the walkings and runnings and things that she's been doing for charity and keeping fit and all this. And a few months ago, she posted a picture of some very skanky toes?
No, you can't say skanky toes.
How would you describe them?
Well-used
toes with some flappy bits of skin and all that. She's the one that put it out there, not us. And one of these, was it Bobby or was it Chloe? I can't remember. Chloe, that's it. It was Chloe. Had drawn a picture of Sal's toes, and she told us beforehand that she'd done this. She's like, I don't know whether I'm going to show it to her or not. But Sal,
and then I think she was going to chicken out.
Yeah, but then we kind of cajoled her into showing it.
And Sal was like, I need to see this.
Sal found it hilarious.
Loved it.
That a piece of fan art of her well-used toes was presented.
It was such a good. I love the drawing too. It reminded me of Quentin Blake.
It was a bit Quentin Blake-ish, wasn't it?
Really cool.
But Sal, she posed for photo. There was a bit precarious at one point because she was wearing these wedges, wasn't she? And we climbed up on the wall so we could stand underneath the big Coronation Street sign there. And there was a bit of a wobble for the moment, but fair play to her. She stood, she posed for photos. There was one point, I don't know what was going on, where we were all linking arms and skipping down the wall together. I just kind of got.
You just jumped around.
I didn't know what I was doing with my arms. I didn't know why we were doing it, really. I just went along for the fun of it, really. But it was lovely. Thank you very much, Sal. And then she went back off to her flat. But that wasn't the last time we saw her. She came back a little bit later. But we bobbed into Costa for a bit, didn't we, then?
Yep.
Just for a little bit of air conditioning.
And we went to the front of the set.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we went to the front of the set around there. We didn't stay too long for that. We didn't see any cars of stars going in, but you noticed a new barrier that had been put up there. We thought it was new.
I think it was new, but the security guard was like, I don't know.
It was so if you can, I don't know whether you know what the set looks like, but you've got your barriers lining the sides of the road there. And then on one side, you've got the security gate, which you can usually walk right up to. And you still could today, to be fair. But there was also a new barrier kind of perpendicular to the gates at one point, so to try and stop too many fans getting too close to the security gates, maybe. But the security guard wasn't too
very
forthcoming
cagey
in information about that. But I wonder whether there's been a bit... but I don't know whether there's been an influx of fans around the front recently. But yeah, we didn't want to stop there, and there wasn't any shade for us there, so we went back round the back again. And the best, I say... that was it for stars, but we actually did see one more star that afternoon, didn't we? Vito the dog.
That's right. We
Did
got
this?
to see.
Yeah, Sally Ann Matthews' dog, main draw of the day. I could honestly, it was. We were both super excited about this, weren't we?
Yeah, I've heard so much about Vito.
I know.
I mean, we were around when he was a puppy and didn't have a name.
Yeah, we've never met Vito before, but
Yeah.
we feel like we know him through his various adventures on social media. And Sal got him, 8 years ago
Yeah.
or so? And this dog is called Vito. The story goes that in the household, all the family members were suggesting ideas for names. And they were saying, no, don't like that. That name's vetoed. That name's vetoed. And then I think it was Sal who said that she was the one that said, oh, we're saying everything's vetoed. Let's call him Vito. So they did. So he came running over to us. And he was lovely, wasn't he? A very friendly dog. And we were giving him lots of fusses, and he posed for photos. And honestly, that was a bit of a highlight of the trip, to be honest. I'm very glad that we got a chance to meet him after all these years. And that was it for the set, wasn't it? Sally Ann went off back into the set again. I don't know whether she had a bit more to do there. And then we went back to the hotel, and that was when we recorded the podcast that came out last week, our very short and hot podcast about last week's Coronation Street. But that wasn't for the end of the day. We had another lovely encounter, didn't we, in the evening?
Yeah, that's right, because we met up with the guys from Corrie.
We did.
David and John had arranged to come with us on the walk, and so that was very nice of them. And so they travelled from different parts of the country.
Long way away.
And it was not fun trip because it was on a train. I don't think there's any good way of getting anywhere in this country.
I can't remember, one of them had an air-conditioned train and the other didn't. And the girls we were talking to earlier said that their journey here wasn't the most pleasant as well, because the trains were rammed with Oasis fans, all converging in Manchester. But yeah, David and John are lovely. We've met them, 3-4 times now? 5? I don't remember. But they just know everything like that about Coronation Street. I'm just in utter awe. And they can name the year. They can sometimes go down to the very episode number of when something happened.
They know stuff about stuff that I didn't know the stuff about.
I know. But they're just so lovely. And Corrie is a brilliant resource for all things Coronation Street.
I would guess that if you're a serious Corrie fan, you will use the website.
Yeah.
There's no way you haven't.
No, not at all. So we ended up, it was quite late because they were delayed a bit. It was maybe 9:30 or so when they arrived, and we went off to Pizza Express in Media City, and we were talking about the state of Coronation Street at the moment, and this and that. See, the thing about Corripedia is they don't ever put any opinion pieces out there, do they? It's all facts, but we know what they think about things. But we're not going to tell you. You're gonna have to guess that one for yourself. So anyway, that was kind of the end of the day. That was our Friday, and we had to go to bed. We tried to go to bed early, but I don't think we did a very good job.
Well, it was like midnight by the time we got back.
Yeah, but we knew that we had to get up early-ish the next day for the main draw of the weekend, which was the walk for Webster. Gemma, tell us a little bit about what was the walk for Webster? Where did it all come from? How did it all get organised as our your Miss Soap Week?
Well, when I came up with Soap Week, my main thing was I wanted everybody to do some kind of charitable thing, and so because it was too vague of a kind of call to action, I don't think many people. No one's told me they've done anything, but we knew we had to do something, and I couldn't work out what it was going to be.
Lead by example.
Because I knew that we were going to Manchester, and it really is a coincidence that we were going to Manchester on Soap Week.
No, that's a total coincidence.
And so we knew that we were going to be around on Saturday, and we didn't have any plans. And so I was thinking, maybe on the Sunday I should do like a watch-a-thon or something during the week, do a watch-a-thon. But obviously I don't want to be on screen, and I also don't own the copyright for Coronation Street, so I didn't know how you could do that. So I realised that we could do a walk. So I decided, like, the most obvious thing to me was to see how far away the old set was from the new set.
Yeah.
And then I worked out that it kind of was about 3 miles if you add in a bit of meandering. And so it seemed like a really easy, it's like catchy, go from the old set to the new set and raise money for Debbie Webster, because I think we knew that we wanted to raise money for Dementia UK, because every year we do pick at least one charity from a storyline from Coronation Street that we really like, and you know, it was M&D for a couple of years, and now it's Dementia UK. And so yeah, we'll do it for Debbie. And so we planned the route out very hastily, didn't we? Because we did not think anyone would come.
We did it for ourselves.
On the podcast, I was like, yeah, you can come if you want to. I guess that makes sense that we can invite people.
I had no expectation at all that anybody would want to come.
Because when I put the route, I was like, it doesn't matter where it goes. No one's coming. It doesn't matter.
I was honestly surprised, not just about how many people came when I expected nobody. Well, we obviously knew by that point that David and John were
Yeah, David and John were coming. But I just wanted to like be clear. We're not being humble or like lying. I did like, why would anyone come on this walk with like 3 weeks notice?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to come.
I didn't realise before we tried to plot out the route that it was actually walkable. In my head, you know, we've driven and we've trammed all around Manchester, but this walk was really an eye-opener for me about where everything connects together.
That's good. New perspective.
I totally did. And it you know, if we took 2 hours on this walk eventually, but according to Google Maps, which is the route that we plotted it with, we could have done it in an hour or just under maybe, because we did take a few detours here and there. And I had no idea. And it was really useful for me to join the dots, I suppose, and go, so that connects onto there and that's onto there, because we wanted to see whether there are any filming locations that we could stop off along the way. Obviously the old set and the new set were the main draws, but we were able to plot in like the place where Paul fell over, the Archie Street, which is it's no longer there, but the location of the road where Coronation Street was originally based on. The inspiration for Coronation Street, yeah. And yeah, it was great. It worked out really, really well. But when we got up on Saturday morning, I suppose the other thing, apart from the fact that we weren't expecting anybody to come along with us when we put it together, when we decided it, and we put it up on a Just Giving page for it, it asked us whether we wanted to put a target. And people had been asking us, what's your target? And we're like, we don't want to put a target because it's going to be really embarrassing if we don't make it.
Yeah, like £200?
Yeah, if we put up £200 and we don't make it, it's going to make it look like we're absolutely useless. So we didn't. But I'm still absolutely bowled over and in awe about how much we've been able to raise for this. When we got up on Saturday morning, it had already topped £1,000, which was, as I say, like 10 times more than we were expecting it to be. And I think it's sitting somewhere around 1,300 at the moment. I think with gift aid as well, we've definitely topped 1,500. So thank you everybody who's donated. We're so chuffed that we've been able to raise so much for Dementia UK. And it's not too late if you wanted to donate as well.
I really think it is a testament to how wonderful Sue Devaney is as Debbie, and the storyline is, you know, I know that we all wanted, like, we hated the idea of it, but we all also knew that Sue Devaney would be excellent, and it would be a heart-wrenching, really, like, a story that only a soap can do, because not many TV shows can show you in real time this kind of story, and it is tragic and horrible, and honestly I wish we could turn back time and not do it at all, because we want to keep Sue Devaney forever because she's so wonderful. But yeah, because of how wonderful Sue is and how adored she is, I'm not surprised that people wanted to donate money to it.
We kind of joked between ourselves like weeks beforehand, if we get £1,000, let's tell them that they're not allowed to kill off Debbie Webster.
Yeah.
I think not expecting to get that far. Have you had what are we up at the moment? Have you been tapping away?
We're on £1,302.
That's pretty good.
With £241.75 in gift aid.
There you go, definitely over 1,500. But yeah, Saturday morning we'd topped £1,000 already. We'd still not had our message from Sue yet though, and she'd promised the day before.
On holiday.
I know she was on holiday, but she'd promised the day before, and I was like, I don't want to bug her about it. I hope that she'll send something through. So we got the tram together, me and you and David and John, who were staying in the same hotel as us, around 10:30. And we went into, was it Castlefield we got off? Was it? I think?
Yep.
Or was it Cornbrook?
No, I don't remember. Castleford,
Deansgate.
Yeah. And
then we took a little walk over to St John's Gardens, which was the place that we'd agreed to meet everybody. And even on the way there, John was saying, That's the place where that happened. This is the place where this happened. And all these filming locations that I had no idea about. Like, we walked under a bridge, or next to a bridge, wasn't it? And he said, oh, this is the place where David and Gary stole Mary's camper van and they dumped it underneath this bridge somewhere. I think that was from 2000 and, I don't know, whenever it was. Wow. So we took a photo of that anyway. But it was very clear to us that, or we knew beforehand already that John especially knows his stuff and likes to share it. And I was like saying, John, if you want to take over this tour, if you want to say all your stuff, please do. And he was all the time saying, I'm not saying too much, am I? I'm not. But he was so good. And when we planned the walk, we didn't plan it necessarily as a guided tour because we didn't think anybody would come.
No.
And we
planned it literally because we thought we're going to make content out of the walk, so we need to hook it around something.
Yeah.
So let's go to some location shoots so we can have some footage for YouTube. We didn't think we'd be like going, no.
So I was really in no way prepared to give a talk about here's where everything was. But then neither was John, and he was just able to do it.
John was just like, I think he should be a Corrie tour guide.
He should, he absolutely should. He was brilliant. So anyway, we were getting down there towards St John's Gardens. You had to nip into the loo somewhere, didn't you? And,
I went to this. Here's a hint if we do this next year, if anyone needs the loo, the Science and
Industry Museum. Sadly, Gemma also dropped her phone and smashed the screen at one point, so that was a bit of a bummer, wasn't it?
Right before we were supposed to do it, and then it wasn't working very well.
But oh well, but can't be helped. So John, David and I got to St John's Gardens, and we'd had a message from one person saying, oh, I'm here, I'm just waiting for you guys there. So like, okay, there's from Chris, that was, and we're like, okay, we know that there's going to be one other person there. And a few people had emailed us to say, oh, I'll come along as well.
Yeah, a few people had said, I am coming, or actually I can't come, or and I couldn't keep track of everybody, because because like often people will say they want to do something and then they don't do it.
Yeah. But, so we turned the corner into the gardens, and we didn't know what people would be looking like either. But I was there dressed in my bright orange Conversation Street top. And I thought, well, people will be able to spot me there. And we got there, and there was somebody that was hanging around, and he's like, "Oh, you here for the tour? Brilliant. Here's someone else." And then it was a little bit like, you know, when Dorothy gets to Munchkin Land, and they all start emerging from out behind the bushes. Come out, wherever you are, like that.
All the little munchkins.
Yeah, and this is what it was like to me, and then they kind of were gradually coming over. It was, and there was 15 people at the end.
Did you say that the ducklings flocked towards you?
They did, and it was so lovely to have this many people. I mean, 15. I don't know whether does that sound like much. I don't know, but for us who
hang on for like a 3-week organised trip where we didn't tell people in advance, and lots of people said they would have come but they couldn't, and honestly a lot of the people we spoke to were saying, oh yeah, I just happened to be in Manchester. To me it's crazy to think that the podcast we do has got enough listeners that there happen to be people that were just in the area.
I know.
That's really unlikely.
And a couple of them were Conversation Street patrons as well, and they had the new black t-shirt on that we just sent out a couple of weeks ago, so that was awesome. And we all introduced each other. We kind of went around the circle and said our names. Gemma turned up at that point.
Now hang on, can I just say?
Yes.
So I, because I was a bit late, because I'd gone to the loo, and you guys went on ahead, and so I was kind of rushing along, and I went around the corner, and I looked, and I was like, oh my god, like there's a huge group of people, this is so,
throng. Like,
I don't want to make a scene and an entrance, but I did anyway, because I couldn't help it, because I was the last one to turn up. So that was really I was really intimidated.
Well, this is great for Gemma. I was very proud of Gemma today. Not just for, organising this whole soap week thing, but one, she didn't complain once about the heat.
No.
Not once.
I kept saying, isn't it lovely how warm it is?
And we all know that Gemma hates the hot weather, and she was sweating cob, but she didn't say anything about it. You were determined not to, weren't you?
Because somebody put a poll on Twitter beforehand saying how far is she going to make it? Is she going to even turn up? And everyone was bullying me, cyberbullying.
They weren't cyberbullying you.
I was being attacked on the internet.
Anyway, I was also very proud of you because you're a very shy person yourself and you don't like to show your face. You famously never appear on camera.
I don't like to make a fuss
as you can
of
see
it.
now if you're watching the YouTube version. But you showed your face to these 15 lovely ducklings that came along, didn't you? And now they know what you look like.
I could have run away.
Yeah. So we did take a few photos.
I did think about it.
We took a photo in St John's Gardens gardens there. This was the garden right nearby the old Quay Street studios, and it's probably, I think John was saying, one of the most used, if not the most used locations that Corrie has ever filmed in, because it was really nearby the studios, and if they ever wanted like a nearby outdoor parky bit, then they could film it there. So for example, when Sophie and Maddie were homeless about 12-13 years ago, they filmed some scenes there. I think was it there that he was saying that Dan was chasing after a cat or something at one point. We'd managed to get a few photos together on an iPad. We got a picture of Liz and I think it was Colin Barnes sitting on a bench together there, and there was a picture of David and Kylie strolling through. But we took a photo there as a right, here we go, ready to get started. I started to say my tour guide bit, and John, absolutely, he was very welcome to, took over and started saying a whole load of other really interesting facts.
He was just really excited to share all of his knowledge, and very generous with his time to basically lead the tour, and he did so much better job than we would ever be able to do. So I'm really, really grateful for him.
And that's the thing. Yeah, and everyone who came along thought it was fab as well. So we kind of went down from St John's Gardens, and our idea was then to go and have a look down in the old Quay Street set, which we visited a couple of times last year. So it's now been kind of redeveloped into, there's where the medical centre used to be, it's now like a restaurant-y, bar-y place called The Stables, and it was where the Coronation Street cast and crew had their summer party a couple of weeks ago. So we walked down to there, we stood on the actual cobbles, well, the ones that hadn't been tarmacked over at least. We could see where the bistro used to be and the viaduct, and it was really lovely. That was kind of the official start of the tour, wasn't it? And we took a few photos there, and John was telling us.
I got everyone to put their foot on the cobbles.
You did.
Yeah.
And this is the moment that I got my message from Sue Devaney binging through on Instagram, and it was just lovely. It was lovely. She it was like 15 seconds or so.
Are you going to play it?
I'll play it. I'll insert it in at some point. Maybe I'll do it right now.
Good luck everyone who's on the walk for the Websters for Soap Week. I'll be thinking of you all, and thank you so much for raising so much money for Dementia UK. And put your factor 50 on, it's going to be a scorcher. Good luck.
Maybe that was it. I don't know if I remember. And anyway, she's just wishing us all luck on the tour and saying hope we got the sun cream on. And
it's so nice of her.
Really,
she
really
was
lovely
on holiday and she was supposed to be taking the day off.
Yeah, it was so lovely of her. Thank you very much, Sue. Everybody loved that.
Really appreciate you, Sue. This was all for you.
It was a really nice surprise, I think, for the people that came along on the tour, because we hadn't told them about the surprises that we were going to do, and this one sort of me holding up my phone saying, "Look at this for us."
Just to say, if this ever happens again, I think this is probably the best.
I know.
This is the best it would ever get. I don't think you're going to get any better than this.
We've got something to live up to now, because we were thinking we would like to do this again, but we can't guarantee that there's going to be a video message from one of the stars and various other things. So this was maybe the first and the best. I don't know. But anyway, so we headed off from there, and then we'd planned to make our way down to Castlefield Basin at that point, where Tony Gordon had chucked Roy into the canal, but John was like, no, let's go somewhere else first. So just literally 30 seconds walk from there was Grape Street, and he was saying that this had just been recently reopened, hadn't it?
Yes, that's right.
This is where I don't want to go on too much about the history of Coronation Street here, but the set that we'd just been on first was what was used for the filming of Coronation Street between 1989, is that right? No, 1982 and 2013, I'm going to say. Somebody's bound to correct me on this one. If I'm wrong, I don't mind. This is why I let John take over. He knows it all. But before then, they were in Grape Street, and it's still part of the old Granada Studios complex. It's all in the same lot. But it had been blocked off for the longest of time. So it's now, it's not at all recognisable as Coronation Street. But if you went on the old Granada Studios tour, or the Coronation Street tour, which they opened after the main Quay Street tour closed 15 or so years ago, then you'll recognise bits of it. And I was walking down it, and there was a little entrance to a building there, and I just had this mega flashback of I've been here before. This was the entrance to the old Granada Studios tour, and it was like I was cast back in time 12 or 13 years. It was amazing. And John said, oh yeah, this used to be used for Carla's flat entrance as well. And then he told loads of stories about that. And we could see inside a window. And you said, oh, that's where they used to have their green room, didn't you?
They did. I know they did.
Yeah, I remember that story from
the
your
tour.
tour.
They had pigeonholes and stuff.
Yeah. I never expected to see that again. So, I mean, I say we had some surprises for the people that came along with us, but this was a lovely surprise for me as well. And we walked down this street, which is all just like, it's just got studios to either side, or disused studios. They've all been kind of used for various things nowadays. And then at the bottom of that road, we went into a place. What was it called? Aviva Studio.
Studios, yeah.
That's it. Which was, it had been opened to the public 2 years ago, maybe, and it's like an artsy, dramery place where they put on plays and whatnot. And we went in there, and the surprise for us in there was an old viaduct, and this was the viaduct that they used to use in Coronation Street back in the was it in the 60s. So because although it's been, apart from now, it's been in the same kind of lot, and it's moved a couple of times over the year where exactly the street was. This was the original outdoor viaduct that's been preserved as a gents' toilet. Which is little bit sad, really, but at least the shape of it is still there. And it was the very arch that used to be at the end of Coronation Street is now a gents. And
what would Ina Sharples think?
What would Ina Sharples think about this? I don't know.
Disgusted.
But it was a lovely bit of Corrie history, and John talked all about that. And we were there for 5 minutes or so before we headed off, and then we changed the route a little bit. We couldn't get down to Castlefield Bowl, which is where we wanted. That was the bit where Roy and Tony were, because it wasn't particularly accessible, and if bits were blocked off anyway. And so we said, "Oh, we've seen it's kind of there. Let's head off." So we kind of carried on our walk. The next kind of stumbling block was a big crossroads, wasn't it?
Yes, we earlier in the day we did do a, what is it called?
Yeah, Google Street View.
Yeah, we did a walkthrough to make sure that it was all. I mean, already thought it would be fine, but we
Just
did
to be
do
sure.
a run through online, because I'd said to do it on Saturday, but we literally had no time to do anything extra than anything we already did. So running around online looking at, but obviously Manchester is being developed at a rapid rate all the time.
Yeah.
And so when we got to these crossroads, it was all just in a jumble, and the pedestrian access was not very obvious at all. And I think if you live in Manchester, you must know this area where, what is it called, that Porcelanosa place in the Grosvenor Casino.
Yeah.
It's horrible. We in the car we've got lost here going around because it's so complicated. And so as pedestrians, it was not a fun.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a fun thing whatsoever. And it looked like more had been built up since the Google Street View was taken. So we were like, what on earth do we do here?
So we had to. Well, we sent you off, didn't we? Because
Yeah,
there was
I
like
was
an
scouting.
underground bit that we could have gone under, or there was. I don't really know what else we could
We
have
literally
done.
just neted to cross the road, and we couldn't figure out how to get to the bit that we needed to get
Hang
to.
on, let
so
me just try to remember how many crossings there were. There was like, I think there were about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There might have been 5 or 6 separate sets of lights and crossing bits to get across the road to where we needed to go.
We should have done the pre-walk really, but we didn't have any time to do it. So I was sent off as a scout in one direction. You were worried because you were tracking me on Apple Maps, weren't you? Realising I was going in completely the wrong direction. But I knew that I'd get there eventually. And I did. I managed to weave my way around and ended up in the canal. Not in the canal, near the canal where I wanted to go. And but you found a better way. You found a shortcut, and we eventually met up again anyway. So we went down some slopes and some steps, and had a lovely little walk along the canal side. One of the things I really enjoyed about the walk was just how varied it was, because we had like the kind of the city bit, we had the canal part, there was a park that we went to later. It was never really the same kind of environment for too long, was it?
Yeah, we got to look at lots of different bits.
Yeah.
And so it was a very nice way to see Manchester, which was fun.
You were doing all the filming during this, and we didn't get the gimbal out, so it's still not really been used properly.
Sorry.
But you were just making sure you were filming so that you didn't actually appear in any of the shots. And I was leading the way at the front. I was talking to a few people. It was kind of hard because if people were, in the middle or the back of the group, I couldn't talk to them because I was leading it. But you managed to talk to most people, didn't you?
I tried to talk to everybody, but you couldn't really, because as soon as you moved away from the front, nobody knew where they were going.
Yeah.
and that's quite funny. But yeah, I talked to as many people as I could. I hope I got to speak to everybody. But I definitely want to give a shout out to Melissa, who came along with her parents, and she was so funny and cheeky. I thought she was great fun. So thank you so much, Melissa. And she's been a patron since the very beginning. So big shout out to Melissa. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah. And I'm really glad that you enjoyed the day, because I kind of think everyone enjoyed it.
It felt like everybody enjoyed it. And as we were going down the canal side, a few people kind of hurried up to the front and they were talking to me and saying, "Oh, thank you for everything you do with the podcast. It's great. I listen to it while I'm doing such and such on Saturday mornings." It was really, really, really nice. It wasn't just like an ego stroke or anything like that. It was just a very pleasant experience and lovely to be able to connect with the fans. Because we've been saying for years, like, oh, people have been telling us, "Oh, you need to do a convention, do some kind of get-together." And I mean, like, no, we can't. Nobody wants to come and see us, but having just a small little gathering of 15, 16 of us, it was a nice, easy way to get people some of the people who were listeners and were in the area at the time to meet up and thank them for listening and all their support over the years. But anyway, this canal path eventually led us down to the place where Paul fell over a couple of years ago. And I know that there was at least one person who was on the walk who had been who was accompanying their Corrie watching other half, and they didn't know about Corrie particularly at all. And so when I was there saying, "Paul fell over here," he was probably, what on
I know, I thought that was great.
Somebody fell over in this
hilarious.
Big deal. But it was a big deal to me. And this is the graffiti wall, and we showed a few pictures. Look, here's Paul falling over and trying to get himself back up again. And that then led us through to St Clement's Church, which was only about 2 minutes away from there. And this was the church where Jerry Booth and Myra had got married in 1968, I'm going to say. So that was a nice little talking point. Of course, John was saying a whole lot more. I mean, he talked all about that. This is also the location of Archie Street, which is no longer there. But it was the place where Coronation Street, we said earlier actually, didn't we, had been inspired by, and we showed some pictures of, look, here's Archie Street. Doesn't it look like Coronation Street? Because
really fascinatingly, I think it's right dead in the middle between the old and the new set.
I think it was, wasn't it?
Because it should have taken us half an hour to get there, but we had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, lots of
around the Quay
detours.
Street and Grape Street and everything. And so by the time we got there, we spent about an hour and a half walking, but it was only another half an hour to Media City, and the whole walk should really be about an hour. Also the good thing about this walk is that it is preserved online, the route. So if you want to do it yourself, please do use that.
Let's go along to the Just Giving page, and there's a link to it there. It was a really nice one to do, a proper Corrie pilgrimage, I suppose, as it were. And so we walked from there through Aldall Park. That then popped us out by the Weatherfield Quays, by the canal. Again, I just had no idea that they were so close to each other. And then we had a lovely walk along the canal side. There weren't too many Corrie locations there. We figured out that I think once Mike Baldwin's flat, the outside of it had been filmed there, but we couldn't work out exactly where it was. And then eventually we got into Media City, the end of our journey. But that wasn't the end for us. First off, we stopped on the bridge just outside Media City Studios, the Corrie Studios, and we took another group shot.
We also got some Pepsi.
Oh yeah, we did get some free Pepsi on the way.
Some strawberries and cream Pepsi from this startled girl who was working by the tram stop. And she was like, "Who are you? Please take this," because she had to get rid of them, I suppose.
Well, it was perfect.
And we were like, "Oh my god, a cold drink! Just
what we need.
A free cold drink."
Yeah. Well, we'd taken a load of bottles of water and some fans, hadn't we, to give to
batteries in case anyone needed
them. But
everyone
this was just what people.
Self-sufficient, I have to say. Mm-hmm. I'm very proud of everybody.
Yes. This is just what people needed at the end. We did bought sun cream, didn't we? But anyway, we ended up on the bridge. We took a photo because when Sue Devaney had messaged us this video earlier, I'd said, "Oh, thanks for that. It's brilliant. I've just shown everybody." And she said, "Make sure you show me a picture of when you all get there." So we all posed for a picture in front of the studios, sent it off to Sue.
Well, that picture should go on the Corrie wall, shouldn't it?
It should really, shouldn't it? It should go up here behind us.
There's another picture that maybe should be.
Yes, well,
we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, we did have one more surprise, and this is something that we didn't organise. It was something that was offered to us.
I know, this is the thing. all of the cool stuff that happened was nothing to do with us.
No, people just adding to it.
Yes.
And you probably know that we're quite close with Georgia Taylor, who plays Toya Habib on the show. She should be a Battersby again. And she'd said, I'll come and meet you when you get there if you like. Like, yes, please.
Oh
People
my
will
gosh.
love this. We'd originally, when we planned the walk, we had no idea that the Coronation Street Experience, the tour, will be closed on Saturday. And we originally suggested that people could go off into the tour if they wanted and combine it. But we were told, no, it's not going to be open. It's like, that's a shame, because it would have been nice to have met one of the cast members. But yeah, Georgia had said, I'll pop along. She didn't need to be there. She literally came to the studios just to see us as we arrived.
Lovely.
Yeah. So we got down to the bottom of the bridge and I said, everybody, we got somebody here to welcome us. There was also Karen Renshall, who we've mentioned on the podcast a few times ago. She's one of the child chaperones on the show, but she's also Charlie Renshall's mum, who plays Liam, of course. So both of those came out. She's the loveliest person.
I think the world of both of these people.
Totally. She is absolutely gorgeous. And so we came and we got a hug, and bless them.
People were really excited.
They were so, really. I hope so.
I would.
Nobody was expecting to meet a Corrie cast member at the end, so I was really pleased that was able to be pulled off.
We didn't say this would happen because we, if in case anyone was going to drop out, they didn't deserve a present at the end, did they?
Exactly.
But everyone was very stalwart. I'm very proud of everybody.
Yeah, so we got hugs, and they stayed with us they stayed with the group for about 20 minutes or so. There were photos that were taken.
Yeah.
They just sat on the wall and chatted, and Georgia is down to earth as you like. She's absolutely lovely, and people were saying to me afterwards, she's really nice. She's not like a star. She's not a diva. I said, no, she's just an utterly normal person.
She is a star.
She is a star, but she doesn't act like one.
Yeah.
She's a very lovely and normal person.
Yeah.
And she just sat and talked about this and that, and Corrie, and we and John spoke. I saw him speaking to Karen for a little bit, and he was saying, how
I think he's picking our brains a little bit, because
what a good job Liam's doing, or Charlie's doing.
Some inside information there about how it all works.
Yeah, exactly. It was really fascinating. So thank you so much, you two, for coming along to it. It really did make very fantastic end to our walk.
It was like the cherry on the top. It was. I'm so happy that we were able to make some people quite excited with that.
Yeah.
Like I said, don't expect this every year.
No, not necessarily. It might happen, but we can't guarantee it.
I really do not think. I can't see how this would work out so perfectly. The only thing was the weather. It was very hot, but everyone seemed to cope really well. I was so worried people were going to be too hot. I genuinely was concerned that it might be too much, but like I said to you, I think the thing with me is that once you've realised you're not going to be cool, you just have to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
it's the promise of coolness that gets me.
We'd also brought along a bit of Conversation Street merch to hand out as freebies, hadn't we? So very lucky people who came along got a chance to have a Conversation Street pencil and keyring and car window sticker.
Just to be clear, these were already a lot. These were Patreon gifts that were left over.
Yeah. And so that was kind of nice. Some people took those, not everybody did, but they didn't need to.
Rude.
And then everyone kind of dispersed and it was lovely. Well, apart from Georgia and Karen and the Corriepedia guys, we all stayed together, and we went over to Costa together, didn't we? And we stayed in Costa for about an hour chatting about this and that. And then Georgia had to go, and then we accompanied them back to the studio, and then it was just us and Corriepedia. David had to catch his train, so we went back to the hotel with him to see him off, and then then we went back to the studios, didn't we, because we needed to meet up with Rory, who was one of the tour guides there. And we've spoken about Rory tons on the podcast before, but he's a really, really lovely chap.
He's so cool.
He's really cool, and he works as a tour guide there. And although there wasn't a tour on, there weren't any tours going for the general public, there was an ITV organised event going on behind the scenes at Coronation Street, and I've seen some people post about it on Instagram. There was like a football themed thing about encouraging young girls to play football, and the Coronation Street tour people were, some of them I think were training, and some of them were helping out with the organising of this, and that finished at 4:00. So we headed back to the studios there. Caught up with Rory. He took us to his hotel, and we had drinks in the lobby together, along with Stuart, who was also another tour guide there. It was just really lovely. We just had very social time, didn't we?
Yes, it was really nice to see Rory and Stuart. They're so fun.
Yeah.
You can tell why they were picked to be tour guides, because they're so energetic and they love Coronation Street so much.
Yeah.
We've got so many cool stories. Yeah, tour guides on Corrie are really special.
Yeah, they really, really are. And also, Rory did give us a couple of magnets, didn't he, from the shop?
Yeah.
Which is a very nice
Thank
gift.
you so much.
Thank you very much, Rory.
Honestly, everyone was just fabulous.
It was really, really lovely trip.
I can't say enough nice things about everybody. All weekend, they were just great.
Yeah.
And everyone was so, like, all the people who came along the walk, thank you so much. It made my day. I can't believe it.
Well, after everyone had gone home, because John started going to the hotel with us to speak to Rory and co, and then he had to dip off, didn't he? But then afterwards, when we had to go back, me and you were walking back to the hotel, we were just kind of feeling quite
what happened?
Satisfied and very, very glad indeed that it had all come together. Much bigger than we'd expected it to be. Obviously, the amount that we raised for Dementia UK was beyond our wildest dreams of how much we thought we'd be able to raise for it. And the fact that, 4 weeks ago, this was literally just a twinkle in Gemma's eye and it had come to this. I was just, so proud of how it all turned out and everybody loved it, and I'd really love to do it again. So maybe we'll be back next year.
Thank you, soap fans.
Thank you very much, everybody,
this week
for joining
so successful. It was fantastic, and all the people that donated, and everyone who walked, and everyone who helped us. It was just a community event, wasn't it? Because so many people came together to do something really cool and special.
Yeah.
And I know that everyone is cool and special, and I'm just really glad that we got the opportunity to prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about maybe on Saturday evening or Sunday morning going to another location, because there's a few more on our map that we still haven't actually visited yet, but in the end we thought we'll save it to another day.
I had to put my foot down because we also had to come back here.
Yeah, we didn't want to be back here.
Various other things.
Yeah, we didn't want to get back here too late, and so we ended up leaving this morning at about 9, was it? I think we left.
We left at 9 o'clock and we got back at 3.
Yeah.
And we've recorded this now.
Yeah, I didn't want to get back too late because we got we got back to work tomorrow and wanted to have a bit of an evening. So anyway, that was our story. Thank you again to everybody who came along. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it interesting. And if you did like it and think, I wish I could be there, we will try and do something again like this next year. We'll try and give you a bit more notice as well so that you can make it along.
But again, I have no control over the weather.
No. It might be raining next time.
It might rain, it might be hot. I can't. I've seen a lot of people saying, you should have done it at a different time. It was based around, it's the Saturday after Tony Warren's birthday.
Yeah.
So really it was Tony Warren's parents who are responsible for this.
Exactly.
It's completely out of my hands. Okay.
Right, I think we'll end it there, shall we? Thank you for watching, everybody. If you're on YouTube, thank you for listening. If you downloaded it through Podbean or Apple Podcast or the usual way, that is it. And we will be back later this week with more Coronation Street action. Well, talking about what we think about what's going on in Corrie, really. But until then, goodbye. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye. See ya.